Hey there, Ricky Shockley from Med Spa Magic Marketing. Today we're going to be going over part 2 of our Google Ads guide for med spas, dermatologists, and aesthetics practices. So today's video is going to consist of setting up your ads account, setting up your actual campaign structure, and your ad groups. So first things first, you're going to go to set up your ads account for the first time if you haven't already. You're going to go to ads.google.com. It's going to either prompt you to sign in or start now. We're going to click start now. I'm signed into my Google account, my Gmail account. And we're going to click new ads account. This one just kind of popped up, so this will pop us up to that next screen anyways. And by default, Google is going to try to trap us into the smart campaign. These, for the most part, stink. They'll pretty much guarantee that you waste a lot of money on clicks and traffic that have no chance of converting into business, and they'll make you think that Google Ads won't work for your spa and that you need to try something else. So let's immediately get away from Smart Campaign, and let's click down here where it says Switch to Expert Mode immediately. This is going to allow us to build the campaign out with maximum control and to build a campaign that's actually going to be effective at driving leads and eliminating waste from our ads budget. So almost all the time, we're going to pick leads here as a local service-oriented business. And then we want, I don't generally use the form submissions inside of Google. You can experiment with that if you want. But for the purposes of this, what we normally do are form submissions from the website and phone calls. Those are the two things that we want to track. And then for the purposes of this video, we're talking about Google Ads in terms of search campaigns, which are traditional Google Ads that show up as text. So again, just to reiterate in part 1, spider vein treatment West Palm Beach. This is what allows you to show up here, search ads. So we're going to go search, continue. We're going to call our campaign. We're going to go service specific with each campaign. So in this case, we're just going to say, let's see, let's do PDO threading. PDO threading. I usually unselect Google Display Network. You can leave Google Search Partners. I don't think that makes a ton of difference either way. Let's just look at the additional settings. We'll leave the start and end date as is. Nothing else to do there. If you are a practice that you don't necessarily have the ability to follow up on form fills, then you might want to experiment with, on that last screen, toggling off form fills, only focusing on phone calls, and then controlling your schedule right here. So make sure to check out that show more settings. If you really only want phone calls during normal business hours, then you might want to play with this right here. Otherwise, you can leave that as is. And then by default, Google's going to select United States. We're a local business. We do not want to generate traffic for people looking for services all over the entire United States. Let's toggle that off and go to enter another location. And we're going to say that we're in Milwaukee here. So just for fun. I'm very unfamiliar with Milwaukee, but we're going to say Milwaukee. So we're going to say Milwaukee, Wisconsin, DMA region. Let's go even more specific. Let's find an address. Let's actually do a little example. Med Spa, Milwaukee. Oops, I know I spelled that wrong. Okay. All right, let's just go with the address of this Evolve, or let's find one. Let's go with aesthetically well. We'll use this as our example. So we're going to pick the actual address of the spa. So let's say we're aesthetically well. Enter the address. Well, we got to go to advanced search here. Radius. Enter our address here. And let's pick our mile radius. So this is going to be different on every city. And you don't want to, when you're picking your geographic area and your radius, you don't want to have the mindset of like, well, we have some customers that drive 25 miles to see us. Sure, you might. But for the purpose of a Google Ads campaign, let's be realistic. Where is it not even going to be an objection that if somebody performs a Google search and finds our ad, it's not even going to be really a thought as to whether or not it's an issue to drive to our practice. So this is going to be different. If you're in a rural area, that mile radius can be a lot longer. If you're in a city with a lot of competition, then that's going to have to be a lot tighter. So let's just say for this one, for example, let's say we've done our research and we've realized that it's 12 miles or so. So we'll say 12 miles from within this specific location. We'll target that and save. So now we have our targeting, our geographic targeting in place. Languages, we're generally going to leave that. If you're in South Florida or another area with a lot of Spanish speaking customers, you can explore that option. Don't worry about this audience segment for now. We can just leave that off. And then here's where we're going to control our budget. So just a simple equation of how much do we want to spend each month. Let's say we want to spend $1,000 a month on this campaign. We'll just divide that roughly by 30. And I'm not this bad at math. I know it's 33, so we're going to say $33 a day is our budget for this campaign. Out of the gate, this is really not like a definitive science here, but we can just say bidding is going to be clicks for now. That's fine. Ad rotation, we can pretty much leave that for now. You can go either way on that, but nothing really to worry about. And then all of these we'll build out later. For the purposes of this setup, we're just going to hit save and continue. So now we've got the basic infrastructure of the campaign in terms of our targeting, our setup, and all of that. So we're at the ad group level now, and we'll just call this PDO threads ad group 1. And here's where we're going to build our keyword list. This is critical. So when we're building our keyword list, we're going to start out as specific as possible. So we're going to use exact match targeting, which means we're going to use these brackets. You can see here at the bottom, you can click that learn more and you can read about how these match types work. But Google Ads, in my opinion, and the opinion of most people with a lot of Google Ads experience, it'll basically sabotage you if you go in here and you just type in PDO threads. You're basically telling Google anything they think might be related to PDO threads, somewhat similar, a competitor's name, a different service offering, service in a city that we don't actually see. Just all sorts of things can come from you typing that into your keyword pool. So we want to be very specific. Even phrase match targeting can be challenging. So PDO threads in quotes gives Google a lot of leeway with other things to show our ad for. So like if you've got a competitor, let's say it's like Smith Dermatology down the street and somebody types in PDO thread Smith Dermatology, your ad can show, which initially sounds nice, but in reality, those people are already searching for your competitor. They've made the decision they want to go there, and you're fighting an uphill battle to try to convert that lead and convince them to change course. So we don't want to do that. We want people that are just searching for the service that we offer in the area that we serve. So we're going to use a ton of exact match keywords, and we're going to say PDO threading, Milwaukee. Yes, I am going to go to another screen and copy the word Milwaukee so I don't have to spell it every time. So on my other screen, I'm going to pull up Milwaukee. I would pick Milwaukee for the demonstration. What a terrible idea. PDO threading Milwaukee. PDO threads Milwaukee. There are some other versions of this. So I know like other people say like thread lift Milwaukee. So we're gonna want to put in as many exact match keywords as we can that are very specific to that service. So you don't want to say things here like med spa Milwaukee. We're specifically talking about PDO threads in this campaign. We want people that are actively searching for the service. We don't even want to say, we don't want to try to like, again, we don't want like a bait and switch. So we don't want to say, well, look, hey, PDO threads is a great option if you're considering a facelift. So like maybe we want to bid on facelifts. Maybe you can test that separately, but for the purposes of this campaign, you want to be very specific. You want to target people that already have been convinced that they want PDO threads and that we're just trying to capture that business and that demand. We don't want to try to like convince them if they were looking for a similar service to change course and to look into PDO threads. You can try that in a separate campaign, but mainly focus on the keywords that are specific to the service offering in the city that you serve. If you've got some nearby cities like suburbs, go ahead and include those too as exact match targeting. But that exact match targeting in those brackets will give you maximum control and it'll give Google minimal leeway in terms of what they can potentially show your ad for. So let's go ahead and just leave those for now. I'm just going to put the 1 in there. Just for now, to move it along. So that's how you want to build your keyword list. Super, super, super important. Keyword list is, in my opinion, the most important part of your ads campaign. It can absolutely make or break the performance of your campaign. So take your time there, be specific, and use a large pool of not even a large pool, just use a very specific pool, make it as long as needed of exact match phrases. So from here, we're going to paste. So in that last video, part 1, if you haven't watched that already, we've created a landing page. So that either can just be an extra web page on your existing website, or you can use a landing page builder. Like if you just Google landing page builder tools, you'll find a bunch of stuff. We use Landingy, but there are so many landing page builder tools if you want to experiment with some of those, or just have your web person build it on the existing website. But put the URL that's specific to this offer page that we created here. And then for headlines, Google is now using these responsive search ads, which I'm not a huge fan of, but we have to play within Google's bounds here. So you'll notice this little ad strength label right here. As you start to build out this ad, that ad strength score will update. So I've seen some research from marketing agencies that is not actually part of the quality score of your ad. And the quality score of your ad is basically Google giving your ad a score as to how relevant it is based on the pool of search queries that you're targeting. So I've seen research from agencies that this is not important at all, and this doesn't actually play into quality score. But I've heard from 2 Google ad reps directly that it does have a direct impact on quality score. So let's just play it safe, and let's try to get these ad strengths to at least good. And as you build these, you'll see there are some of these suggestions up here. But let's say PDO threading Milwaukee. That'll be our first headline. Very straightforward. We don't want to be creative. This isn't Mad Men. This is someone who went to Google specifically searching for a service, and we want to make sure that they know that our ad is relevant to them. So let's also try PDO thread lift Milwaukee. Let's try PDO threads near Milwaukee. Red lift in Milwaukee. Okay, let's go back up to let's look at these little suggestions by Google and just see if there's anything that's relevant to us. Browse through those. And since we talked about hopefully having an offer, we'll say something like $100 off your first treatment. Then we'll say rated number 1, maybe some social proof. Number 1 med spa in Milwaukee. And once we start to build those out, we'll have certain things that this is another little nuance here. It's another little nuance. So since I didn't fill out that keyword pool on the last page, it's going to have trouble updating this ad strength, but just keep an eye on that. And then what you're allowing Google to do when you load these headlines is Google can scramble these as they see fit. So what my concern with that is redundancy. So let's say Google decides that they want to show these 3 headlines all back to back. Well, that headline is all basically different ways of saying the same thing. So anything that's synonymous or can be swapped out, I'll pin those in the same position. You don't want to do this with only one because you'll notice that ad strength score will drop, but the more that you pin, the better. So anything that can be in that first position will pin as number 1. And then let's say it's call to action based things that we want pinned in position number 2. I'll pin all the call to action based or offer based language in position 2. And then maybe it's like our business name, Milwaukee Med Spa. Maybe it's things that can be swapped out for position 3, like our business name or the rated number 1. And those are pinned in position 3. So just make sure whatever you're pinning you can see how that affects the ad preview in the right. It's saying, I want to show this headline in position 1. So by pinning all 3 of those, there's only one that's going to show in position 1. So you're ensuring there's not like this weird, nasty, like like headlines that kind of repeat and just don't look attractive. And then in our descriptions, these don't, I believe, just check to see if that ad score is affected. I don't think they affect the ad strength score there. But here we want to sell our offer. So check out our awesome reviews and download this, or access this limited time special on PDO threads. Okay, cool. Rated #1 med spa in Milwaukee. Oops. 2022. Next day appointments available, or just whatever you think is relevant there to sell, to convince and convert. Why should they click your listing over the other listings that are showing up on the search results page? So these look nice already. Thread lift in Milwaukee, get $100 off this month only. Milwaukee Med Spa, rated #1 med spa in Milwaukee. Like, we've done a good job of being a visible and viable option and giving us that little extra edge by having a discount or a promotion. So that's how we want to build our ads, keeping that ad strength score in mind. Whoops, let's go ahead and just paste something in here. I might have to actually paste a real link. So let's just go back to, I'm gonna type in on my other screen here, Milwaukee Med Spa PDO. And we'll just grab a random link. Oh, aesthetically well. I don't know if they actually offer it. We'll throw that in here just for our example. All right, save and continue. And then we're going to enter our billing info. And we have set up our Google Ads campaign. We've selected expert mode. We've selected and optimized our campaign settings. We've compiled a keyword list of very targeted keywords directly related to our service offering, and we've crafted ads that are going to give us a good ad strength score, directly communicate what we're offering and where, and our promotion, and convincing people that we're a solid, reputable option to provide that service. So in our next video, we're going to talk about setting up conversion tracking and call tracking.